Well, hi to my YouTube subscribers. I'm here in my room at Bumrungrad Hospital in Bangkok. In a couple of hours, I'm going to have a microdiscectomy, which will decompress the nerve bundle at the L3, L4 vertebrae of my spine. Now, I woke up about 5 days ago with severe pain in my left hip. If you haven't had this before, it's known as sciatica, and it's extremely painful. The cause is what's known as spinal stenosis, which is a narrowing of the spinal canal. In this case, it was made worse by a bulging disc. Now, the fix is to remove tissue on either side of the spinal canal so that the spinal nerve bundle can be moved away from the bulging disc. The surgeon may also shave off a small portion of the disc. So I have osteoarthritis. It runs in my family. So in the past, I've had bilateral rotator cuff surgery, bilateral hip replacements, and a fusion of the L4, L5 vertebrae. Now, all of these procedures have been successful. Now, if I had had these problems 100 years ago, I would certainly not have survived. But today, these are routine procedures. The procedure is done arthroscopically through a single small incision in my back, and I'll spend one night in the hospital. I can walk immediately, and I should be able to return to normal levels of exercise in 4 to 6 weeks. Now, because I have Medicare in the US, this procedure would have been free there. But in this case, I decided to just pay to have the procedure done in Thailand since I'm retired here. The sciatica is intensely painful, so it would be excruciating to travel to the US with this, and the surgeon here was able to schedule me immediately. I'm very fortunate to have the money to be able to do this, and I recognize that not everyone can do this. The cost of the surgery is much less than it would be in the US if I were paying in the US, but it's still a significant cost. Now, having had many surgeries in the US and one previous surgery in Thailand, my feeling is that the standards of surgery are equivalent, but the standard of general care is probably a bit better in Thailand, and safety standards are very high here. And one thing to note is that Thai doctors are much more conservative with pain medications than in the US. In the US, oxycodone is routinely prescribed, where in Thailand you're much more likely to get codeine Tylenol. Now, in my case, I'm assured that I won't have significant post-surgical pain. Well, okay, so I'm going to report back to you after the surgery. We'll see how it goes. Well, I'm back in my room now. I feel quite good. I just had dinner. The surgery went very well, so I'm going to spend the night at the hospital, and I'll go back to my condo in the morning. I have to say the standard of care here really is excellent, very comfortable, and my feeling is that if you're from the US and you aren't old enough to be covered by Medicare or you don't have insurance, you could save a lot of money by having your surgery in Thailand, and I think you'll have an excellent experience. The standard of care here is really quite good, so it's an option to consider if your surgery isn't covered. And if you're in Thailand, certainly surgery here is an excellent option. Okay, well, I'll let you know how my recovery continues. Well, it's the next day now, and I'm back home in my condo. The doctor saw me in my hospital room before I left, and he felt that the surgery went very well. He examined the incision, which you can see here. It's only 1 centimeter long, since the surgery is done arthroscopically. Now, you can see that below the incision is a long scar from my L4, L5 spinal fusion. That surgery is a much bigger deal. It's quite painful during the recovery, and it requires at least a few months for a full recovery. But in my case, it was 100% recovery. Now, the incision that I just had is closed with dissolving stitches, so I don't need to have the stitches removed, and it's covered by a waterproof dressing, so I can shower, but I'm supposed to avoid water streaming directly on that spot. During my recovery, it's best for me to recline fully or to sit at a 45-degree angle. Now, I'm to limit sitting straight up on a chair or standing to not more than 30 minutes at a time. I can walk until I feel pain. With sitting, standing, or walking, I'm supposed to wear a back support. Now, in 4 to 6 weeks, I should be able to resume normal light exercise like my floor exercises or the treadmill. Now, I have much less pain than before the surgery, but improvements in pain will be gradual over the next month or two. Now, since I've had lots of surgeries due to my osteoarthritis, I'm accustomed to this. Now, the doctor did shave off some amount of my bulging L3-4 disc, which you can see here in the picture, and he collected the shavings in a bottle to show me, since he knows that I'm interested in these things. He also removed some bone and a good deal of tissue around the vertebrae. Now, the doctor says that the nerve bundle now has plenty of room, but it will require some time to recover from the period of time that it was compressed. He also showed me a series of photos that he took through the arthroscope as he worked. I'll show this to you. I won't describe them in detail. There were actually 2 surgeons working on me. And the anesthesiologist saw me before the surgery. She told me that her mother is exactly my age and had the exact same surgery with the same surgeons just 2 days earlier. And she told me that these surgeons are excellent. So I was very confident going into the surgery. If you're living in Thailand and you need spinal surgery, Bumrungrad is a good option. And there are other fine hospitals and back clinics. I'm not going to quote prices. You'll want to get your own quotes. The standard of care at major hospitals in Thailand really is excellent. Now, I could have done this surgery for free in the US, since I have Medicare with supplemental insurance. But the pain was so extreme that I did not want to travel and wait a long time to schedule the surgery. If you're not covered by insurance in your home country, spinal surgery in Thailand is substantially cheaper than in the US and probably a lot of European countries and other countries if you're paying out of pocket. But in general, spinal surgery isn't cheap. Okay, so I'll provide an update on my progress at some point. Thanks for watching. Bye.